Blake Lively digged her own grave.
So it's like very much the opposite of what she claims to be.
We're just saying you're so untrustworthy and so manipulative.
Taylor Swift and Blake Lively are not friends and probably never will be.
Did Blake Lively just destroy her own lawsuit while trying to protect her image? And why are the very women she claimed to represent now turning on her in a full-blown backlash? The courtroom drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has spiraled into something much bigger, with creators, influencers, and the public now pointing fingers at Lively herself. Blake Lively entered this lawsuit with one goal: to come out looking like a fierce defender of truth and female empowerment. Instead, she managed to derail her own case with a series of legal missteps, overreaches, and a social media circus that backfired spectacularly. From subpoenas targeting small creators to court filings riddled with contradictions, Blake seemed less interested in justice and more obsessed with controlling the narrative. Even her supposed evidence of being attacked online collapsed under scrutiny, revealing a strategy more rooted in silencing critics than seeking truth.
Also, I've been told that Blake Lively's team has reached out to a lot of content creators and they want to have a meet and confer with them. Because as you know, until now, mainstream media has been completely biased towards Blake Lively during this entire legal feud. And it's very infuriating, especially for me as a journalist, to watch that from the sideline, to see how they keep doubling down on her narrative, which we all have learned by now that it's fake.
While Blake's legal team threw PR-driven punches, Justin Baldoni's defense team came prepared with receipts, rationality, and a lethal calm. They revealed inconsistencies in Blake's narrative, exposed emotional manipulation tactics, and clarified that her lawsuit lacked solid legal grounds. In fact, what many thought would be a dramatic takedown of Baldoni quickly morphed into a mirror reflecting Blake's own contradictions. Her emotional interviews, vague allegations, and reactive statements ended up helping Baldoni's case, not hurting it. Her attempt to label the suit as a righteous stand collapsed as the defense pointed out. Her claims were legally hollow. What's worse than a legal defeat? A moral defeat. The most devastating blow came not from Baldoni or his team, but from women. Women who initially believed in Blake, who championed causes like hers, but who've now seen enough to call her out. In a fiery sit-down on Popcorn Planet, creators like Elsie and Lauren laid it out. Blake is no champion of women. They exposed how she used vague trauma language to gain sympathy while simultaneously subpoenaing small female creators. They called her out for defending Woody Allen in the past and questioned why she never supported women until her own image was threatened.
So it's like very much the opposite of what she claims to be. No, I mean, it was very frustrating to watch. Of course, there was ample opportunity for her to speak out like that while she was promoting the film. And she chose instead to be sarcastic and dismissive.
This wasn't just criticism. It was betrayal, echoing across platforms. Blake thought she could shut down critics by unleashing a wave of subpoenas. Instead, she lit a fire. One by one, creators lawyered up, filed motions to quash, and started publicly speaking out. Far from coordinated attackers, these individuals had different experiences, but one thing in common: none of them bought Blake's version of the truth. Some faced harassment, others feared for their safety, and many were infuriated that a supposed advocate for women would target small creators with legal threats. Her attempts to intimidate the internet backfired spectacularly. The voices rising against Blake aren't trolls or bandwagoners. They're real, diverse, and increasingly united. From legal experts to influencers to everyday followers, more people are speaking up. The idea that Blake was targeted by a coordinated smear campaign now looks laughable. The truth: these creators were targeted first and are now simply defending themselves. As Lauren said, "I've seen her speak at the Time Gala, but what I've seen is the opposite. They're not here to cancel Blake. They're here to hold her accountable."
Well, I mean, I've seen her speak at the Time Gala and on Seth Meyers and say that she's like doing work to defend or like women and girls' safety or make the world safer for women and girls. And I'm like, well, actually, what I've seen from her is very much the opposite. I think that she talks down to a lot of women. I think that she is now targeting a lot of women. I think, Andy, I don't know if you were the only guy named in that YouTube subpoena thing, maybe?
Maybe. I didn't even think of that.
So like women who have like 30 followers, and she's like, well, it certainly seems that whoever said something about her that she did not like or was unfavorable, she's now, targeting.
What started as a high-profile legal crusade has turned into a blueprint for what not to do in court. From Ezra Hudson's messy legal tactics to the embarrassing contradictions in court filings, Blake's legal strategy is now a cautionary tale. Filing motions without clear facts, attempting to dox creators, and falsely using the language of DV and SA survivors to gain sympathy. It's all being dissected publicly. The dismissal of her claims wasn't just a courtroom loss. It was an exposure of the fragility behind her entire case. Her voice trembled during interviews, but it was her logic that ultimately collapsed. Blake claimed she was fighting for women, but where was that energy when it counted? As Elsie pointed out, Blake only shared DV resources after the case was dismissed. Why wait until the narrative had shifted in her favor? The optics were clear. Advocacy used as a shield rather than a cause. And it didn't go unnoticed. Even Blake's former supporters began distancing themselves, realizing her motivations weren't as noble as portrayed.
Throughout this entire process, from the inception of the movie, throughout the PR process, she never once stood up for women. In fact, up until the day Justin's dismissal was announced was when she posted resources for people if they needed help, the people who filed the amicus briefs on her behalf. Is suffering through this is where you can get help. But she still never offered anybody any help until she felt some form of relief for herself. So I'm pretty sure that woman is each man for himself, God for us all type of lady.
From awkward interviews to melodramatic statements, Blake's PR campaign felt more like damage control than advocacy. On Seth Meyers, she delivered tearful lines about the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Without going too into it, is that this year has been full of the highest highs and the lowest lows of my life. And I see so many women around afraid to speak, especially right now, afraid to share their experiences. And fear is by design. It's what keeps us silent. But
even Time Magazine's CEO said Blake was having a great year. So what low exactly was she talking about?
Pretty simple there, Elsie. What do you think about that comment?
I want to know what low she's talking about, because the CEO for Time Magazine actually said Blake was having a great year. Great year. So I don't know what she means by highest highs and lowest lows. There are no lows in sight. According to her and everybody else, she's having a great year. So I don't know if she knows which story to go with.
According to her critics, it was a performance designed to manipulate emotion and dodge accountability. That might work in movies, but in the real world, people are paying attention. Here's the kicker. Blake Lively, who claims to represent women, has a history of staying silent when it mattered. She once publicly defended Woody Allen, saying he was a gentleman to her.
Somebody please point to me one time in history where Blake has supported another woman. Women have been going through a lot in this industry. In fact, she's gone out of her way to defend Woody Allen. Am I wrong?
I think so.
I believe that's correct. So where was she at that time?
Completely dismissing the women who came forward. Now she demands the public's trust in her own pain. It's a level of hypocrisy that even her closest fans are struggling to ignore. When women like Lauren and Elsie call this out, they're not haters. They're truth tellers who refuse to be gaslit.
We're just saying you're so untrustworthy and so manipulative that your own best friend, again, might I add, the godmother to your children, cannot seem to find anything to help you.
That Selena Gomez had a birthday party and Blake Lively wasn't invited. And as you know, she wasn't invited to Gigi Hadid's 30th birthday not too long ago either. So she is being shunned by all her celebrity friends. As you know, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively are not friends and probably never will be.
Public opinion is shifting. The once glossy narrative of Blake Lively as a brave, wronged woman is cracking under the weight of contradictions, backlash, and sheer public exhaustion. Her carefully crafted image, polished, empowering, untouchable, is now tangled in a messy web of authenticity doubts, accusations of manipulation, and whispers of calculated self-interest. People are no longer quietly questioning her. They're speaking out, loudly. Remember when we reported how fans began boycotting her brand's products? That wasn't just a fluke. Sales have dipped and comment sections have turned brutal.
Allegedly, Target is claiming customers are returning Blake Lively's hair care line, Blake Brown, in droves. So they are pulling all of her merchandise off their shelves because they are losing profit.
And let's not forget that viral moment, a full-on protest, caught on camera, with real people holding signs, shouting out against her hypocrisy. Light burns too bright, the ugly truth starts to show. Outrage erupted as protesters took to the streets, calling out her hypocrisy. Caught on camera, Blake looked visibly shaken, her smile cracking as anger flashed across her face. Social media is buzzing with accusations of her rude and condescending behavior. The confusion runs deep. What exactly is Blake fighting for? And what game are she and Ryan Reynolds really playing behind the scenes with all this glossy PR machinery? It's starting to look like a trust collapse. The backlash isn't just digital anymore. It's emotional, it's political, it's relentless. What began as a legal feud between two celebrities has become a mirror to how fame, influence, and power can distort justice. Blake's actions have forced the public to question how easily someone can co-opt noble causes for personal gain, and how quickly the truth unravels when receipts start surfacing. This isn't just about Blake versus Justin anymore. It's about accountability, integrity, and the cost of performative advocacy. So here we are. A lawsuit intended to protect a legacy may have rewritten it instead. Blake Lively might have started as the face of elegance and strength, but now she's become a case study in how public trust can vanish overnight. As more voices speak out and more creators defend themselves, one thing is clear. You can't claim to stand for truth while burying it. Is this the end of Blake Lively's legal drama, or just the beginning of her reckoning? Drop your thoughts in the comments.